Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we will see how we can model this simple uh, mouse cover kind of thing. So it's, if you see the dimension for this part, it's right over here on the left side. We have some dimensions, and then we will utilize the multi-section solid to uh, design this part. Alright, so let's see how we can quickly design this in Catia V5. So let's start with mechanical design, part design. Let's call it mouse cover. Alright, so the first thing that we always do is we'll start with a sketch. And if you see, we have a few sketches over here. So I'll utilize that. And let's start with the XY plane. Go for a sketch. And the first sketch that we will do is this curve portion of, you can see right here. So for that, let's start with the profile and change it to 3-point arc. Now it's obviously, I'll select this point as the coincidence with the origin. So I'll start from here, and then let's say I draw a 3-point arc like this, and then again change it to 3-point arc and draw another arc like that. Press escape to exit, and then select these two arcs, go for tangency constraint, and the first arc is 125 and this one is 418. Let's go for a constraint, define both the arc radii 125 and 418. Alright, so we can decrease it a bit like this, and then we can see there is a dimension of 45 from this point to the axis. So let's go for that. This point to horizontal axis is 45, and this point with the horizontal axis is 58. You can see this 58 distance. Now the other thing that we have to define is we can basically define this one. So let's say we define that using vertical axis, and we can go for, let's do not define that, we can delete that. And the one thing that we see over here is it's of a total length of 224. So whatever arc you are drawing, maybe this one or that one, it should be the total distance between the arcs is 224. So I'll select a constraint, select these 2 points, go for horizontal measure and define its distance as 224. And now when we define this point from the vertical axis, I can pretty much get a constraint definition. Now I figured out that this 95 constraint is missing from here, so you make sure that you follow this as well. Alright, so this is our first sketch, and from here we can exit the workbench, and we will exit the other, we'll draw the other part of the sketch, which is this part. So let's go for XY plane again and go for sketching. But this time we'll select the 3-point arc again. So let's go for a 3-point arc. So from here we can draw a 3-point arc from here like this, and it's obviously 240 radii, so let's give it radius, and this distance is 58 and 58, both the ends. So I'll select this point, and this distance should be 58, and again this overall distance is 224, So let's define that horizontal distance of 224. In case if it's not constrained, you have to select this point and define its distance, which is 58 as well. Now our sketch is fully constrained. I will exit the sketcher, and we are now going to sketch draw the another sketch, which is obviously this curve portion which you see, the 235 radii. So for that I will utilize the ZX plane and go for sketching, and in this one let's go for a 3-point arc again. 1, 2, and the third point should be coincident with the vertical axis, and then we can give it the radii, which is 235, and this distance is 46. So I will select this point and go for a horizontal constraint of 46, and again you can see this point is at a distance of 30. So select this point and horizontal axis, define its distance as 30, and now all we have to do is the 224 distance. So I'll select this point, I'll select this point, go for constraint, right click, horizontal measure, and give it 224. Alright, so this wraps up the sketch number 3. After that all we need is these two profile. So you can see on this part of the dimension we have a profile like this and a profile like that. So we'll draw that for now. So for that what we can do is we will select YZ plane and go for sketching, and we will sketch the smaller profile first. So this is basically a 120 radii. So let's go for that. Define the radii of 120. In case if it goes away, you can drag it like this, and we'll take a profile. We'll start from here and we'll finish the sketch like this. Okay, now the first thing that we have to do is go for normal view. First thing that we have to do is we have to coincide with this point and this point. So I'll select this one and this point, go for a coincidence. Okay, select this one and this point, go for a coincidence. Alright, that looks okay. And the other thing is select this and this and go for coincidence as well. And after that I'll select this point of the arc and this axis and go for a coincidence as well. So still it's not fully defined, so we'll see what's wrong with it. Alright, so what we have to do is we'll select this point and this arc and go for a coincidence like that, and then you can go for a normal view and trim the extra part which is over here, and then exit the workbench. So your sketch is done. The other sketch will be on this face, so for that we need a plane. We can go for through 3 points, define the points 1, 2, 3, press OK. Now select the new plane, go for a sketch. Alright, we can go for a normal view, and then we can sketch this profile. So for that We'll again need a 3-point arc. It should be 113, and we'll do again the profile tool, select from this point and basically close the profile like that. And after that we'll need to define some constraint. So the constraint will be, if you see, this distance is 58 and this distance is 30. Alright, so if we see our sketch in isometric view, this point should be coincident with this one, so let's go for that. And this edge should be coincident with that point. This edge should be coincident to that point. And if I go for a normal view now, all we have to do is select this and go for constraint coincidence. Alright, after that we'll select this point and select the vertical axis, go for a coincidence. That makes our sketch fully defined, and from here we can exit the workbench. Now all we have to do is we have to go for a multi-section. So let's go for a multi-section solid. Now we'll define our section. So this is the first section, this is the second section, and then we have to give the guide curve. So come to guide and select 1, 2 and 3 guides, and if you preview now, it's fine. In case if you are not getting this in the one click, make sure your closing points are on the same profile and their direction are same. Alright, I'll press OK now. That completes the model. Now all I have to do is do some fillets. So for that, let's say I will give 25 to these two edges. So let's go for edge fillet and we'll select first edge and second edge, 25 mm. Okay. After that we need another 15 radii fillet for that this edge, first edge, second edge and this third edge. So I'll select edge fillet, go for 15, and if I select one of my edges, it automatically adds all, and then we can confirm that. Alright, so it looks something like this for now. Now we need a 3-unit uniform wall thickness, so for that let's go for a shell on this face and this face, 3 mm. Okay, we are getting some error, that's because of the fillet. So we'll modify our second fillet, we'll clear the selection, and what we have to do is select this one and make sure you're not selecting the front edge of this part. Alright, and then we can go for a shell on this face and this face of 3 mm. Okay, and that completes up the model of the mouse cover. If we change our views to shading without with the smooth edges, it looks something like this, and that's totally accurate and fine with the dimension. So yeah, that's it with this tutorial. I hope you get the idea behind using all these dimensions to conclude our final model. So if you have any doubts with this one, feel free to comment down below and subscribe if you are watching this. Thank you guys, peace out.